It's been a critical week in the Qatar crisis. We saw the deadline expire this week for Qatar to meet the demands of Saudi Arabia, Bahrain, the UAE and Egypt. We saw Qatar reject the 13 demands imposed or required by the blockading nations in order for them to lift their sanctions on Qatar. And we saw foreign ministers from those four countries meeting in Cairo to discuss Qatar's response and next actions. The four Arab states meeting in Cairo rejected Qatar's response. They've said that Qatar does not understand the seriousness of the situation, and they have said the sanctions will continue. The diplomatic and trade and transport blockade will continue, and they have maintained the prospect of increasing sanctions at an appropriate time. So where does that leave us? Firstly, it gives us no indication of how this dispute is going to play out. It leaves us poised for the potential for the crisis to escalate, particularly with potential economic sanctions that might put pressure on businesses and other countries to make a decision whether they wish to do business with Qatar or with Saudi Arabia and the UAE. It leaves question marks about the future of the GCC. We have 6 countries in the GCC today, and the noise coming up to the meeting in Cairo was that if Qatar did not accept the demands, they would be out of the GCC. That step hasn't been taken, or at least not announced, but it does leave questions lingering about the GCC. It also creates opportunities for other countries as Qatar is more and more distanced from its neighbours in the GCC. Iran, Turkey, Russia, Israel all have the opportunity to get a foothold in the Gulf, in the Arab side of the Gulf region, and that would suit their foreign policy and economic agenda also. The one thing that we do know is that this dispute is not going to be over quickly. It is going to run through the summer and probably beyond. Meanwhile, the pain on Qatar is increasing. We have seen on this week, MEED has been reporting the rising costs of food and commodities imports into Qatar. We have seen Moody's downgrade Qatar's credit rating. We have heard about the impact on projects, particularly Doha Metro, of delays in getting construction materials into the markets. So the longer this dispute continues, the more everyone will be affected and damaged, but particularly Qatar and the Qatar projects industry. Aside from the Qatar crisis, we've seen a lot of activity in Saudi Arabia and the UAE in the oil and gas projects field. 2 major developments in Saudi's offshore projects this week, with Aramco awarding to Saipem a major offshore project to upgrade 19 jackets, and also a project to Worley Parsons to do the engineering on the Marjan field expansion. Meanwhile, in the UAE, we have seen progress from ADNOC on the $2 billion project to develop integrated facilities and expand integrated facilities at the Bab oil field. And then in Dubai, we have seen just today the unveiling of a $1.3 billion commercial real estate project called the Emirates Towers Business Park, a major real estate development in Dubai. So even with oil prices still looking volatile, falling below $50 a barrel, things are beginning to pick up in the projects market as we go towards the second half of the year. You can read about all of this on meed.com. Subscribe today and keep up to date with the market. And if you click on the link at the bottom of this window, you can follow MEED on YouTube. Thank you very much.